keep this real brief. I just wanted to show a nice little coating job I did on these headers. I decided I wanted to Cerakote these because I didn't want to go through the trouble of fiberglass wrapping them, or that lava wrap, whatever, ceramic wrap, whatever you want to call it. So I Cerakoted these headers just to help cut down on some of the heat a little bit. Cerakote, I believe, cuts down either, I think 15%, if not like around 20% on heat whenever you coat headers with them or exhaust. So I had some Cerakote I bought that I plan on doing the exhaust with. I did the handles, the door handles with, just because it's real thin coating. So any tight fit components, which those I don't think needed to be Cerakoted, those probably could have been painted or epoxy because they're not real, there's nothing really tight fitting. I was thinking that button was a tighter fit, but it actually has a little O-ring that goes inside of it that gives it its snug feel. But anyways, so I took these stainless headers because stainless, as you know, once it heats up, goes through a couple heat cycles, it starts getting a dull kind of golden bronzy look to it, and it'll start getting splotchy, and I believe it will eventually end up rusting just from the heat eating away at the stainless properties, just like a stainless grill will do. So I Cerakoted them for one reason, to help them keep from corroding and keep them looking prettier, and two, because it obviously it'll help cut down on heat, which is a big problem with turbos. If anyone knows turbo stuff, it generates more heat, you get more back pressure, so your exhaust generates more heat, etc. But anyways, if you're curious about doing Cerakote, Cerakote itself, the container of it, it's not real cheap, but it goes a long way. It's very thin, it sprays very thin, and you have to, if anyone's skittish to trying it out or giving it a go, don't be. You can get a spray gun off of Amazon, because you need a different spray gun than your normal paint gun. This stuff that I bought is a cold coat. You can get a cold coating Cerakote or a type that you bake on, just like powder. The cold coat, I think, withstands more heat than the baked on stuff. However, the baked on stuff is more durable. So if it's stuff that is dealing with abrasion, anything that's abrasive coming in contact with it, you want to probably do the baked on stuff, just like the powder. But if you're wanting to do exhaust, cold stuff is ideal. This stuff is rated at 1800 degrees, I believe. That's Fahrenheit. And like I said, if you want to give it a go, you can get a spray gun for it on Amazon. I think I paid 20 or 30 bucks for one. It uses a 0.8 tip. And you have to blast it just like you would powder, or like you would paint it preferably. But you blast it, wipe it down, clean it. If you're doing the baked on stuff, you need to pre-bake it to degas it. It'll get any kind of oil residue out of the exhaust or out of the metal. This cold stuff, you just blast it, wipe it down clean, and I didn't tack this stuff off, so you'll see a lot of little debris in mine. You can see little dots and stuff around and about. But I wasn't really worried about it. This is not the exhaust that's gonna stay on the car permanent, and it's not really showy. My welds were terrible on it, so I'm not really worried about it. I mainly wanted it protected for heat and corrosion and whatnot. But you have to be real careful spraying it, because it wants to run real easy because it's so thin. So you have to spray real light coats and just put multiple coats on. Let it flash for about 20 to 30 minutes, I think, between coats. But you just spray a real light coat. When you first spray it, it's gonna look see-through. Like you can still see, like this looks almost brownish. That's because all this is just overspraying here for the most part. But like you can see around the lip where it just didn't adhere to it all that well. Once it cures, it'll actually darken it out a little bit, but it won't look like you sprayed it good, is what I'm getting at. So you spray it real light, let it flash some before you spray again, or you'll end up with runs like I did. You can see maybe, yeah, that's a run there, I believe. And you can see some splotchy areas where it sprayed on too thick and it wanted to gas off. Yeah, there's an area there, which you can see a little bit of color texturing there. That's where it did its little bubbling, fisheye, gassy stuff. Anyways, that's it. I went ahead and sprayed a little bit into the tubes as well. It should help keep down the temps there as well. I know they use ceramic coat inside of exhaust a bunch, and they're also doing it now on tops of pistons and even the side skirts of pistons to keep temp off the pistons themselves and to help protect the ceramic coating on the sides of the piston skirts. Actually gives a little bit of not really lubrication, I guess, but protection from metal on metal. And a bunch of companies are actually selling that type of stuff now. So give it a try if you're ever curious about it. If you're curious of what this type is, this is C-7600. The C is the cold, and it's glacier black. It requires well, you could probably use a paper filter, but they recommend using a mesh strainer if you're worried about any kind of debris getting in it. Because you see, obviously I didn't tack mine off, so I probably could have used just one of these little D-cone paper filter, whatever, and meshed it out fine, and it would have been all right. But those little mesh screens are reusable. They're a little pricey the first time you buy them, but they're useful. But yeah, you just get that. And if you're curious, the gun I got off Amazon. I don't remember what I paid for it, but that's it. Just a little throwaway gun, 0.8 tip, little bitty touch-up gun type thing. But that's the info on it if you need it. And Cerakoted, if anyone else is curious of this, which if you're like me, you don't really read instructions all that much, I went and wrote it down this time. Cerakoted, they recommend spraying at 20 to 25 PSI. And it does have a shelf life from the date you open it. It is, I think, 3 years from the opening date, which that's when I opened mine, was October this year. It's here 3 or 5 years for the opening date. I don't remember. I think that's what it is. Anyways, made the video too long already. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll have my heads tomorrow and I'll start reassembling. This will be cured to touch within 30 minutes to an hour. It should be cured enough to bolt on tomorrow or the next day, and it'll be full cured within a week. I don't know if I can send heat through them yet, so I'll have to look that up because I might not be able to actually fire the car up right away. I should have done these a couple days ago, and I've just been putting it off. Anyways, thanks for watching, and hopefully next video, old beastie girl will be alive again. I got my gaskets in, so I'm ready to reassemble. Yeah. All right, later guys.